Okay, in this video we're going to talk about the systems of equations, okay? And we're just going to concentrate on solving a system of equations. I'm not going to go too much into detail as to what are the possible outcomes, but you remember that there's three possibilities when you solve a system of equations, okay? Some systems have only one answer. Some can have, okay, a system of equations has either one solution or one answer, no answer at all, or it has infinite answers. Infinite answers. That means it has what? A trillion, a gazillion amount of answers, a never-ending amount of answers. Okay, infinite answers. So there's two ways that we can solve a system of equations. There's actually many ways that you can solve it. In the EOC, in the algebra test you're going to take, the big algebra test, they're not going to tell you, I want you to use this way, I want you to use substitution, or I want you to use elimination. As long as you know one way, that's all that matters. Okay, so the best way to learn this is with the matrix. Okay, but there's actually two ways. There's the matrix way, and then there's the elimination way. I know that to my ninth graders I taught you a lot of the matrix way. Okay, so let's do the elimination way now, and then we're going to do the matrix way. So let's go ahead and make up a system of equations right now. Remember, a system of equations is two or more equations. Okay, for example, here let's say we have x plus y equals 5, and let's say here that we have 3x minus 3x minus 2y equals 3a minus 2y equals negative 5. Okay, so this is a system of equations. Okay, and let's go ahead and find the answer to it. Well, let's see what the answer will be of this system of equations. Okay, well, let's use the elimination way first. Okay, so but before I do that, I want to go ahead and remind you of something that's very important when you work with systems of equations. Okay, so let's say that we have the equation given to us in this way. Okay, let's say it's y equals 3x minus 1. Okay, so notice that we have two equations, 1 and 2, and they go together. They make a system of equations. So how do I find the answer? What number should x be, and what is y, so that when you put those numbers in here, it will give you the equations. It will make the equations true. Now let's go ahead and find that out. Well, let's see here. Okay, this one, the top equation, is in standard form, and the bottom equation is in slope-intercept form. You might want to look at the first video that I posted, which is finding the equation of a line, and it tells you more about standard and slope-intercept form. Well, here's a big hint. Okay, both equations must be in standard form. That will make it easier for us to solve it. Okay, because remember that we're using the what? Elimination method. Elimination method. Okay, that's what we're using. So both equations must be in standard form for the elimination method. Okay, so the bottom one is in slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. The top one is in standard form, which is big AX plus big BY equals big C. So let's put the bottom one in standard form. Okay, so doing that will look like this. Okay, so let's see here. So the top equation will stay the same, x plus y equals 5. The bottom equation, we're going to change that into standard form. So let's work out the algebra here real quick. So I got y equals 3x minus 1. I want to bring the positive 3x to the other side. So it's positive 3x, so I subtract it from this side. Whatever I do here, I do on the other side. This cancels out already. That term cancels out. So you have y minus 3x equals, that minus 1 is just negative 1. Okay. Now notice how we have, in standard form, we have ax and then by, ax plus by. So here, remember what I said, you make the minus small and you put a plus in between, and now it tells you that you're adding, and if you're adding, you can switch. It's okay to switch when you add. Okay, so I'm just going to put negative 3x in here plus y equals negative 1. Here's the equation in standard form. Okay, so we came up from here, from slope-intercept form, and we turned the equation into standard form. All right, so let's write it here. And now we're ready to work with the system of equations. Okay, now that we're ready to work with this system of equations, okay, we want to go ahead and eliminate, because we're using the elimination method. That's the one I'm teaching you right now. So in order to eliminate, we have to add. Well, we have to eliminate either the x or the y, either one of them. Okay, so in this case, you can concentrate on the idea here is for you to have the same coefficient, but with different signs. So notice in here that you have a positive 1 for the y, and here's another positive 1. This tells you that you have the same coefficient for the y's, but they're both positives. Okay, so we want to make one of them negative, because when we add them, they will cancel out, which becomes 0. Okay, so I want to go ahead and eliminate the y, or I could have eliminated the x, but I think it's easier in this problem to eliminate the y, because both coefficients are the same, and now it's easy to turn one of them into a negative. Okay, remember that to eliminate, both coefficients have to be the same. Okay, and one of them has to have a negative and the other one has to have a positive. Okay, so we want to go ahead and do that now. Okay, so I want to make the bottom one negative. Okay, or I could make the top one negative, it doesn't matter, but one of them has to be negative. So it's very simple, but if I make the bottom one negative, I have to switch the signs of all the bottom numbers. So that's a negative 3, so it'll become positive 3, and that's a plus sign, so it becomes the minus sign that I'm looking for, and that's a negative 1, so it becomes a positive 1. Okay, let's go ahead now and eliminate by adding. We're going to go ahead and add the equation. So there's a positive 1 here, 1 plus 3, that makes 4x, and then there's a positive 1 and a minus 1, and when you add you get 0, which is what you want. So the y gets eliminated, and you add 5 and 1 and you make 6, and that will give you a simple equation which comes out to be 4x plus 0, that's 4x, which is equal to 6. Okay, divide by 4 on both sides. This will cancel out. Okay, so x is equal to 6 divided by 4, that will make 3 halves, which is 1.5. X is 1.5. Okay, I already found out what my x is, but I still need to figure out my y. Okay, so let's go ahead and figure out the y. So in order to do that, I'm going to substitute this x into one of the equations. It doesn't matter which equation I pick, I got to substitute the x into one. I'm going to go ahead and pick the top equation, which is this one here, and that is x plus y equals 5. Remember, the ones next to the variables, we can erase them. The x is 1.5, so I'm going to put 1.5 on the x, substitute it in there, and now I'm going to go ahead and solve for y. So take away 1.5, this is middle school stuff, this crosses out, and 5 minus 1.5, that makes 3.5. And there, I found my solution. I found my solution to my system of equations. Okay, found my solution to my system of equations. The x is 1.5 and the y is 3.5, and that will be the answer. If you substitute 1.5 and 3.5, on each of the equations, it will make both of them true. Okay, try it out for yourself and you'll see that it makes both of them true. By checking your answers, sometimes you're guaranteeing that you get the right answer. So put x, which is 1.5, on each of the equations and put 3.5 for y, and when you add you get 5. And here when you multiply 1.5, which is x times 3, okay, that will give you a number that when you subtract 1, it will give you y, which is 3.5. So both equations will be true. And that's the answer. Let's go ahead and do another one with the elimination method. I'm going to leave the matrix method for another video. So let's concentrate on the elimination method now. Remember, the key here is that both equations are in standard form. Okay, both equations must be in standard form. So let's go ahead and make up another system of equations here. Let's see here. I want the first equation to be x minus 6y equals 9, and I want the second equation to be see here, 2x plus 8y equals to 10. Okay, so actually, yes, so now we have this system of equations. Okay, so let's see here now how we can find the answer to it. Well, actually, let's make the second equation in slope-intercept form, so you can rehearse the idea of writing it in standard form. Okay, so the second equation is in slope-intercept form. The first one is in standard form. So let's go ahead and write the second equation into standard form. Okay, so I write y equals 3x plus 2. That's a positive 3x, which I need to bring it to this side. So I take it away, minus 3x from both sides. This cancels out. Now you have y minus 3x equals positive 2. That minus sign, we can make it very small, put a plus in between, and we realize that we're adding, so we can switch the terms around because we're adding. Okay, so I'm going to put negative 3x on this side plus y, that makes 2. I wrote my second equation in standard form. Now I'm ready to continue with the solution. Okay, so the first equation was x minus 6y equals 9, and the second equation became this equation in standard form, negative 3x plus y equals 2. So let's solve the system by elimination, the elimination method. Okay, so which one should we get rid of now? Should we get rid of the x or the y? It doesn't matter, but you gotta pick one to get rid of. Okay, this time I noticed that I already have a negative here, and right here on top it's a positive. So I want to get rid of the x. Okay, so I want to go ahead and concentrate on getting rid of the x. So I have to make a positive 3 here. And the way I'm going to do it is by multiplication. Multiply times 3. Okay, then this equation will become 3 times x is 3x minus 3 times 6, that's 18y, equals 3 times 9, that's 27. The bottom equation stays the same. And now we can go ahead and eliminate. Okay, so we're going to add now. I see here that they have the same number but with different signs, so I want that. That becomes 0. Negative 18, there's a 1 here. I got negative 18 or minus 18 plus 1, that will be minus 17. Y equals, remember that the minus, you can make it small, put a plus in between. That tells you that the 18 is negative, not positive. So negative 18 plus 1 is negative 17. Likewise in here, you can make the minus small, put a plus in between. Okay, 27 plus 2, that's 29. You add 0 to something, you get the same thing. Okay, simple equation from middle school. Divide by negative 17 on both sides. This cancels out. Y is equal to, what's 29 divided by negative 17? Negative 1.7. Roughly negative 1.7. Okay, that will be my Y. I need to figure out my X now. So again, we substitute to find the X. We're gonna substitute. Okay, so substitute to find X. So pick one of the equations. Okay, it doesn't matter which one you pick. You can pick the top one or the bottom one. So I want to go ahead and pick the top one. X minus 6y equals 9. And I will put negative 1.7 on Y. And solve for X. So 6 times, notice you have a minus, make it small, put a plus in between. So it's negative 6 times 1.7 is 10.2. This becomes 10.2 positive. Okay. So when we're going to subtract 10.2 from both sides. This cancels out, so X is equal to 9 minus 10.2. That would be negative 1.2. Okay? Yes. Negative 1.2. So that's the answer for X. So this is the elimination method, and that's how we take care of it, okay? So we eliminate either the X or the Y, but we have to make sure that both equations are in standard form. You have to be aware of that, okay? Both equations must be in standard form. So that's it for now. Stay tuned for more channels and more videos on more math that you need for successfully passing the Algebra 1 test. Goodbye for now.